Here are some tips for your next job interview. This video today is about how to address the question, tell me a little bit about yourself in a job interview. So normally in a job interview process, this question doesn't come in the first round of interviews. And what they want to know is how your story connects to what they need, what they're looking for. They're not interested in your past, where you were born, where you graduated, and these kind of things. It has to be something related to the position. So as I mentioned in the previous video, you become familiar with the job description. So when you tell your story, when you're telling a little bit about yourself, you make it relevant to that specific position you're applying for. So how would you answer this question? Come up with some authentic story about yourself. Don't need to be too long because otherwise people will get bored, right? For example, let's say I'll come up with this story. When I was 12 years old, my father bought me my first 8-bit computer. You know, at that time we didn't have computer stores. So my father bought this computer from an optical store. It was my first contact with a personal computer. No, it was an 8-bit computer that you have to plug in your cassette tape on it.
Then you have to turn on the
What does this have to do with the job, right? So this is totally irrelevant. It might be interesting for a podcast, you know, for those kind of things, but you have to make the story relevant to the position you're applying for. And I'll give you another example. You have to make your story relevant to that position. It has to be authentic. So let's say I'm an IT person and I'm applying for an IT related position, right? So I will read the job description and they're asking for someone who is interested in latest technologies, or, you know, someone who is always up to date in the field. So someone that's naturally curious. So that's the characteristic that you have to show during your interview, that you are curious, right? So you can start by saying, when I was young, my father gave me a computer and I learned how to program the computer on my own. And, you know, I used to go to the library to get books and learn about programming. And then, in my first job, when I was an intern, I had the opportunity to join this IBM group, you know, and IT security wasn't a big thing at the time, but I was really curious to learn more. And I had the opportunity to learn from those big companies how they were improving, how they were working on their security. And that led me to be more interested in nowadays. I'm a cybersecurity specialist and I'm now in my company for implementing really strong procedures, educating people about cybersecurity. One of my latest achievements, I have a score of 97% of people completing the training about cybersecurity awareness training. You know, you come up with some examples in your life that is related to that position. So you can connect somehow to the beginning of the story you're telling about yourself, that you were curious, you had the opportunity to learn from those guys in those big companies, whatever is relevant to you, right? So you have to find some story that's not a fictional story. So that's one way to address this question. Don't make it too personal, make it very professional, but at the same time make it very human. Don't be like, you know, I'm a sales specialist and I sold $250,000 last year. Don't, you know, that's not what they're asking, right? They want to know about yourself, but about yourself relevant to that position. I hope you learned something from it. If you have any doubt, don't forget to leave your comments and I'll reach out as soon as I can. And good luck in your job interview.